Story 1. Working at Sweet Dreams Bakery has always been my dream job. The smell of fresh bread, the joy of decorating cakes, and the smiles on customers' faces when they see their orders, it's usually perfect. Usually being the key word here, because yesterday we had an incident that made me question everything I thought I knew about human behavior. I was putting the finishing touches on a display of croissants when a family walked in to pick up their order, a custom superhero-themed birthday cake for their 7-year-old son. The cake was a masterpiece that our head baker had spent hours on, complete with hand-painted comic book scenes and a perfectly crafted fondant superhero cape. Me, welcome. Are you here for the superhero cake? Dad: yes, we're so excited to see it. I brought out the cake, and their little boy's eyes lit up like Christmas morning. Little boy, it's perfect. Look, they even got Iron Man's colors right. That's when she walked in a woman I'll call Karen, who took one look at the cake and decided it belonged to her. Karen: oh thank goodness, my cake is ready. Me: I'm sorry, but this cake has been ordered and paid for by this family. Karen: but I need a cake right now. My daughter's birthday party starts in 2 hours. Mother: this is our cake. We ordered it 3 weeks ago. Karen: can't you just let me have it? I forgot to order one, and my poor daughter will be devastated. The parents exchange confused looks, while their son hugged closer to his mother, clearly sensing something was wrong. Dad: we've been planning this party for months. Our son picked out every detail. Karen: well, my daughter is turning 10, so this is a much more important birthday. Besides, boys don't even care about parties that much. The little boy's face fell, and I'd had enough. Me: ma'am, this cake is not available. However, I can show you our selection of ready-made cakes. Karen: ready-made? Do I look like the kind of mother who gives her child some generic grocery store cake? Dad: maybe you should have thought about that before forgetting to order one. Karen: how dare you? You don't understand, my daughter is expecting something amazing. She's already told all her friends about her perfect party. Me: we do have some lovely celebration cakes available. Karen: no, I want this cake. I'll pay double whatever they're paying. Mother: it's not for sale. Come on, let's get this packed up and… Before anyone could react, Karen reached for the cake box. In her attempt to grab it, she knocked it sideways, and we all watched in horror as our masterpiece slid off the counter and landed face down on the floor with a sad splat. The silence that followed was deafening. The superhero cape lay sadly in a puddle of frosting, Iron Man's perfectly painted face now just a smear of red and gold. Karen: well, now no one can have it. This is your fault for not giving it to me in the first place. To everyone's surprise, the parents started laughing. Not angry laughter, but genuine, uncontrollable giggles. Dad: oh my God, this is going to be the best birthday story ever. Mother: honey, remember last year when the clown got food poisoning? I think this tops that. Their son, who had been on the verge of tears, looked up at his parents in confusion, then started giggling too. Little boy: the cake went splat. Karen stood there, clearly not getting the reaction she'd expected. Karen: this isn't funny. Now I still don't have a cake for my daughter. My manager, who had witnessed the whole thing, finally stepped in. Manager: ma'am, you need to leave. Now. Karen: not until you make me a new cake. Manager: we will not be making you any cakes, today or ever. You're banned from our store. Karen: you can't ban me. I'll write a terrible review. Manager: please do. Make sure to mention how you destroyed a child's birthday cake because we wouldn't give you someone else's order. Karen: this is horrible customer service. I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. Dad: make sure to tell them how you said my son's birthday doesn't matter because he's a boy. Karen stormed out, but not before trying one last guilt trip. Karen: my daughter's party is ruined. I hope you're all happy. After she left, we all pitched in to save the day. Our head baker immediately started on a new superhero cake, while I gave the family free coffee and cookies to enjoy while they waited. The little boy got to watch the cake decoration process, which he declared was even cooler than the first one. Other customers who had witnessed the scene bought extra pastries just to show their support. One elderly lady even tried to pay for the new cake, though the parents politely declined. The new cake was ready in record time, not quite as elaborate as the first, but still impressive. The family insisted on paying for both cakes, saying the story alone was worth the extra cost. "Little boy, this one's even better because I got to watch you make it." As they were leaving, another woman rushed in, looking frantic. "Woman, I'm here about a birthday cake disaster." Turned out she was Karen's sister. She apologized profusely and explained that Karen had actually forgotten her daughter's birthday entirely. The party wasn't even until next week. She'd been trying to cover up her mistake by stealing someone else's cake. The best part? Karen's daughter apparently loves grocery store cakes and would have been perfectly happy with one of our ready-made ones. She later came in with her aunt to order her actual birthday cake, specifically requesting one that looks like it came from a grocery store, because those are the best. We still have the security camera footage of the Great Cake Flip of 2024, which has become required viewing for all new employees as an example of what not to do when someone says no to you. The family even asked for a copy to show at their son's next birthday party. The little boy now tells everyone that his 7th birthday cake was so awesome, someone tried to steal it. His parents say it's become his favorite story to tell at school, complete with dramatic reenactments of the cake's final moments. As for Karen, we heard she ended up at the grocery store, trying to pass off a ready-made cake as a custom order. Apparently, she didn't learn her lesson about cake theft, but at least this time, nothing ended up on the floor. Story 2. Working as a host at Bella Luna, one of the city's most popular Italian restaurants, has taught me a lot about human nature. Most people understand that Saturday nights are busy and reservations are essential. But last weekend, we encountered someone who believed the rules simply didn't apply to her. I was managing the host stand during our busiest dinner rush when a woman, let's call her Karen, walked in with an air of superiority that immediately set off warning bells. Me, "Good evening. Do you have a reservation?" Karen, "No, I don't need one. Table for 2. Me, "I apologize, but we're fully booked tonight. I can add you to our wait list, but it might be an hour or more." Karen, "An hour. Do you know who I am?" Me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but all our tables are either occupied or reserved." Karen, "Those tables are empty." She pointed to several tables that had just been vacated and hadn't been cleared yet. Me, "Those tables are reserved for guests arriving shortly. I'd be happy to add you to our wait list." Karen, "This is ridiculous. I'm a paying customer." Our manager noticed the commotion and came over to help. Manager, "Is there a problem here?" Karen, "Yes, your employee is refusing to seat me." Manager, "As they explained, we're fully booked tonight. Would you like to make a reservation for another evening?" Karen, "I want to eat here now. I drove all the way across town." Manager, "I understand, but without a reservation." Before he could finish, Karen pushed past us both and marched straight to one of the unclean tables, sitting down amid the dirty dishes and used napkins. Karen, "There, now I'm seated." The other diners nearby looked uncomfortable, watching this grown woman plop herself down at a table covered in someone else's half-eaten dinner. Manager, "Ma'am, that table is reserved for guests arriving in 20 minutes. Karen, "Well, I'll be done by then. Now, someone clean this table and take my order." My manager gave us all a subtle signal, one we'd used before with difficult customers. We were to completely ignore her presence. As we went about our normal duties, Karen sat there trying to flag down every server who passed. They all acted as if the table was empty, just waiting to be bussed. Karen, "Hello? I'm ready to order." No response. Karen, "This is horrible service. I demand to speak to the manager." The manager walked right past her table while greeting other guests. The couple who had actually reserved that table arrived early and stood at the host stand. Reserved guest, is our table ready? Me, it will be just a few minutes. We're dealing with an unexpected situation. Karen overheard this and yelled across the restaurant. Karen, you can't give away my table. I'm sitting right here. Other diners were either staring or trying very hard not to stare. A few were quietly filming on their phones. After about 15 minutes of being steadfastly ignored, Karen's face was getting redder by the minute. She pulled out her phone and started filming. Karen, I'm being discriminated against at Bella Luna. They seated everyone else but refused to serve me. An elderly woman at the next table couldn't help but comment. Elderly guest, dear, they can't serve you because you're sitting at someone else's reserved table without permission. You're making yourself look foolish. Karen, mind your own business. Another 10 minutes passed. The dirty dishes were still sitting there. Karen was still being ignored, and other customers were whispering and pointing. Finally, a young girl from another table walked by and said what everyone was thinking. Little girl, Mommy, why is that lady sitting with garbage? That was apparently the last straw. Karen stood up so quickly she knocked over a water glass left by the previous diners. Karen, this is the worst restaurant I've ever been to. I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. As she stormed toward the exit, she tried one last time to salvage her dignity. Karen, you've lost a valuable customer. I eat out every week. Manager, wonderful. I'll be happy to recommend several other restaurants that take walk-ins. She left, but that wasn't the end of it. Within an hour, she'd posted a scathing review online about how we refused to serve her and discriminated against singles dining alone. Unfortunately for her, several other diners had recorded the whole incident. They posted the videos in response to her review, showing her pushing past the host stand and seating herself at a dirty table. The best comment came from the elderly woman. I've never seen someone try so hard to have dinner with someone else's leftovers. We saved the security footage of the incident for training purposes, a perfect example of what not to do when a restaurant is fully booked. The next day, Karen called to make a reservation, apparently having learned her lesson about just walking in. When we pulled up her name in our system, we found she'd pulled similar stunts at other restaurants in town. She's now on our do not serve list. The couple whose table she tried to steal. They found the whole thing hilarious and have become regular customers. They always make sure to have a reservation, and they love telling new servers about that time some lady tried to steal our table and had dinner with our dirty dishes. We've since added a sign at the host stand, reservations required for dinner service. Seating yourself at dirty tables is not a reservation. The funniest part, if Karen had simply agreed to be put on the wait list, we actually had a cancellation 20 minutes later. She could have had a lovely dinner at a clean table. Instead, she spent half an hour being publicly ignored while sitting with someone else's mess. Some of our regular customers still ask if the dirty table lady ever came back. As far as we know, she's moved on to harassing other restaurants, hopefully ones that take walk-ins. Story 3. As an information technology professional working from home, having reliable internet is crucial for my job. I pay extra for the highest tier of service from my internet service provider, which includes unlimited data and the fastest speeds available in our area. Never did I imagine my neighbor would try to steal it and end up causing herself a world of trouble. It started when a new neighbor, let's call her Karen, moved in next door. She seemed friendly enough at first, bringing over cookies and asking about the neighborhood. Then came the Wi-Fi conversation. Karen, oh, by the way, what's your Wi-Fi password? Me, excuse me. Karen, for your internet. I just moved in and haven't set up my service yet. I figured we could share. Me, sorry, but I use my internet for work. I can't share it. Karen, don't be ridiculous. It's just internet, it's not like you own it. Me, actually, I do pay for it, and sharing it would violate my terms of service. Karen, come on, be a good neighbor. I'll even split the bill with you. Me, no, I really can't. There are several providers in the area though. I can recommend. Karen, this is so selfish. You probably have unlimited data anyway. Me, that's not the point. I need reliable service for my job. She stormed off, and I thought that was the end of it. But over the next few days, I noticed my internet getting surprisingly slow during video calls. As someone who monitors network traffic for a living, this raised immediate red flags. I checked my router's connected devices and found several unfamiliar ones. Someone was definitely on my network. A quick check of the activity logs showed they were streaming movies and downloading large files almost constantly. The password they'd somehow guessed wasn't even that obvious. It was my cat's name plus my house number. Then I remembered Karen had commented on my cat's sunbathing in the window during her cookie delivery, and my house number is clearly visible. I decided to gather evidence before confronting her. Using my network monitoring tools, I tracked the unauthorized devices' MAC addresses and documented the bandwidth usage. In just 1 week, these devices had used over 500 gigabytes of data. When I had enough proof, I went to her house. Me, we need to talk about my Wi-Fi. Karen, what about it? Me, I know you've been using it without permission. Karen, prove it. Maybe it's someone else. Me, I have logs showing devices connecting from your exact location, matching the times you're home. Karen, well, if you don't want people using it, you should have better security. Me, accessing someone's network without permission is illegal. Karen, oh please, everyone shares Wi-Fi these days. You're just being stingy. Me, I'm giving you one chance to stop before I report this. Karen, report what? That you're hoarding internet? Go ahead. So I did. I contacted my internet service provider with detailed logs showing the unauthorized access, including timestamps, device information, and location data. They took it very seriously. 2 days later, Karen came pounding on my door. Karen, what did you do? The internet company won't let me sign up for service. Me, I reported your unauthorized access to my network. Karen, you got me blacklisted? How am I supposed to get internet now? Me, you should have thought of that before stealing mine. Karen, I didn't steal anything. Internet is a public utility. Me, no, it's a service that people pay for. It turned out the internet service provider had not only banned her from their services, but also reported her to other providers in the area. She was flagged in their system for fraudulent activity. Karen, this is discrimination. I'll sue you and the internet company. Me, for what? Protecting their service from theft. She tried calling the internet service provider to argue her case, putting it on speakerphone right there on my porch. Karen, this is ridiculous. You can't deny me service. Provider rep, ma'am, we have documented evidence of you illegally accessing another customer's network. This violates federal law. Karen, it was just Wi-Fi. Everyone shares Wi-Fi. Provider rep, no, ma'am. Unauthorized network access is a form of theft of service. Karen, fine, I'll just use another company. Provider rep, you've been flagged in our system, which is shared with other major providers. You'll need to seek alternative services. The only option left for her was a prepaid mobile hotspot with data caps and much higher prices. She tried to argue that this was somehow my fault. Karen, you've ruined my life. How am I supposed to work from home with limited data? Me, the same way I need to work from home with your own legitimate service. She went on a neighborhood social media rampage, posting about how I was hoarding internet and got her unfairly banned from service. Other neighbors quickly chimed in. Neighbor 1. Wait, you tried to steal their Wi-Fi and you're mad you got caught? Neighbor 2. No wonder my internet was so slow last month. You probably tried to hack mine too. It turned out she had tried the same thing with several other neighbors before successfully guessing my password. Now everyone was checking their networks for unauthorized access. The best part? She tried to move to a different neighborhood to escape the internet ban, only to find out the blacklist follows her address and her name. She'd have to move to a completely different service area and change her name to get regular internet again. She ended up having to pay nearly $200 a month for a mobile hotspot with limited data, compared to the $70 monthly fee she would have paid for regular service. Every time she goes over her data cap, she has to buy extra data at premium prices. Now she sits in her front yard, glaring at my house while using her expensive, limited hotspot. Sometimes when my internet is running particularly fast, I wave at her through the window. The internet service provider actually thanked me for reporting her. Apparently, network theft costs providers millions each year, and they're trying to crack down on it. My password is now much more complex, and I've added extra security measures to my network. Other neighbors have done the same, creating a virtual fortress of secured Wi-Fi networks in our area. Karen still tries to convince new neighbors that I'm the villain in this story, but the constant spinning wheel on her laptop while she uses her throttled hotspot tells a different tale. Story 4. Working as a cashier at Value Uplist during our biggest sale of the year is always an adventure, but yesterday's shift brought a special kind of chaos thanks to one customer who thought she was cleverer than everyone else. It was the final hour of our store-wide 40% off sale, and my line stretched halfway through the store. Everyone was being remarkably patient given the wait, probably because of the significant savings. That's when she appeared, a woman, let's call her Karen, who decided the rules of basic courtesy didn't apply to her. I watched as she surveyed the long line, cart full of sale items, then casually wheeled her way directly to the front as if the 20 people waiting didn't exist. Customer in line. Excuse me, the line starts back there. Karen, oh, I didn't see any line. The customer pointed to the very obvious queue of people stretching through the store. Karen, well, I'm already here now, and I'm in a hurry. Me, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you'll need to go to the end of the line. Karen, but I only have a few things. She had a cart piled high with sale items, definitely more than the people she was trying to cut in front of. Me, I can't serve you until you go to the back of the line. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm a paying customer. Elderly customer, so are we all, dear. We've been waiting for 30 minutes. Karen, well, that's your choice. I choose not to wait. She started unloading her cart onto my conveyor belt. I immediately turned off my light and stopped scanning items for my current customer. Me, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to continue checking anyone out until the line order is restored. Karen, you can't do that. It's your job to ring people up. Me, my job is to process customers in the order they arrive. The line was getting restless. People had been waiting a long time, and many were worried about missing the sale deadline. Customer in line, come on, lady, some of us have been here forever. Karen, mind your own business. I'm already unloaded, so I'm not moving. I called my manager over, who assessed the situation quickly. Manager, ma'am, you need to move to the back of the line. Karen, I will not. I'm ready to check out right here. Manager, then I'll have to ask you to move to Register 8. Register 8 was our training register, slower, and without all the automated features of our main registers. It was usually closed during rush periods. Karen, fine. At least I'll get out of here faster than waiting in that ridiculous line. My manager smiled in a way that made me suspect she had a plan. Manager, thank you for your cooperation. Everyone else in line, please continue here with our fastest cashier. Karen huffed her way to Register 8, where our newest trainee was just logging in. What she didn't realize was that she just volunteered to be part of our trainee's first solo transaction. The trainee was meticulous but slow, double-checking every procedure in their manual. Karen's face got progressively redder as she watched my line move steadily while she waited. Karen, why is this taking so long? She's already checked out 10 people. Trainee, I'm sorry, ma'am. I need to verify each discount code individually. Karen, just scan everything. It's all 40% off. Manager, actually, it's 3:01 p.m. now. The sale ended at 3 o'clock. Karen, what? No, I was here before 3. Manager, you were in the wrong place before 3. Now you'll need to pay full price. Karen, this is a scam. I demand the sale price. Manager, the sale terms were clearly posted. All items must be scanned before 3 p.m. to qualify. Karen, but I would have made it if you hadn't made me switch registers. Manager, you would have made it if you'd waited in line like everyone else. Every customer who had been in line was now checked out and leaving with their discounted items. Karen was still waiting as our trainee carefully entered each item's regular price. Karen, this is discrimination. I want corporate's number. Manager, of course. Would you like me to note that you attempted to cut in line and then refused to follow store policy? Karen's total came to more than double what it would have been with the sale discount. She stared at the screen in disbelief. Karen, I'm not paying this. Cancel everything. Manager, that will take our trainee about 45 minutes to void each item individually. Would you prefer to pay and leave now? Karen looked at her watch, then at the growing line behind her. Yes, a new line had formed while she was being rung up, and finally at her cart full of now full-priced items. Karen, fine, but I'm never shopping here again. Manager, will note that in your customer profile. She paid and stormed out, leaving her cart full of bagged items at the register. We had to have someone return everything to the shelves. The best part? She came back the next day trying to return everything, claiming she didn't realize the sale was over. Our return policy requires the original payment method, the same credit card. She dramatically cut up in front of our trainee after paying. The trainee, who had been nervous about working registers, got a confidence boost from the whole incident. They realized that if they could handle Karen, they could handle anything. We added a new sign near the registers. All customers must be in line before sale end time to receive discounts. Line cutting will result in transfer to training register. Some of our regular customers who witnessed the incident still ask about Register 8 Karen when they come in. It's become something of a store legend the day someone tried to beat the system and ended up paying double. The security footage of her slowly realizing she'd played herself is now part of our training materials, a perfect example of why it's better to wait your turn. We've had significantly fewer line-cutting attempts since word got around about what happens to people who try to skip ahead. As for Karen, we heard from other stores in the area that she tried the same line-cutting trick at their big sales, but our story had spread. As soon as she approaches a register out of turn, they just point her to their training station. Story 5. I've been working the front desk at the Grand Hotel for 5 years now, and I've seen every possible attempt to score free upgrades. But yesterday's incident was special. Someone who tried so hard to get a better room that they ended up with something much, much worse. It started during the afternoon check-in rush, when a woman, let's call her Karen, approached my desk with an attitude that suggested she was already planning to complain. Me, welcome to the Grand Hotel. How can I help you? Karen, checking in, and I expect excellent service. She hadn't even given me her name yet, but she was already looking around critically, probably searching for something to complain about. Me, last name, please? Karen, it's under Richardson. I booked a standard king room, but I'm sure you'll want to upgrade me to a suite. Me, I don't see any upgrade notes on your reservation. Did you purchase our premium package? Karen, no, but I expect to be upgraded for free. I'm a very discerning guest. Me, I apologize, but complimentary upgrades are only available for our rewards members when... Karen, this is already terrible service. I can't believe how unhelpful you're being. Other guests in the lobby turned to watch as her voice got progressively louder. Me, ma'am, I'm happy to check you into the room type you booked, or I can offer you our upgrade rates if you'd prefer a suite. Karen, I'm not paying extra. Do you know how many followers I have? One bad review from me could ruin this place. I'd pulled up her reservation by now. She'd booked our cheapest available room through a discount travel site. Me, your standard king room is ready on the 5th floor. Would you like assistance with your luggage? Karen, I want to speak to your manager right now. Our manager had already noticed the commotion and was heading over. Manager, is there a problem here? Karen, yes, your employee is refusing to provide adequate accommodation. Manager, what seems to be inadequate about your room? Karen, I haven't even seen it yet, but I know I deserve a suite. The service here has been awful. Manager, could you explain what's been awful about your experience so far? Karen, well, they wouldn't upgrade me, and they're being very condescending. My manager looked at me, then at Karen, then at her reservation details on the screen. Manager, I see you booked our standard king room at a discounted rate. However, if you're unsatisfied, we do have a different room available that might better suit your needs. Karen, finally, someone who understands customer service. My manager gave me a subtle wink. Manager, please adjust the reservation to room 107. I tried not to smile as I made the change. Room 107 was our smallest room, a windowless interior single that we usually used for airline crew members who just needed a place to sleep for a few hours. Karen, I assume this is one of your best suites. Manager, it's one of our most unique rooms. Very private. Karen, well, it's about time. This is the kind of service I expect. As we handed her the new key cards, she was practically gloating, probably thinking she'd won. 20 minutes later, the phone at the front desk rang. Karen, what kind of room is this? There's no window. Me, that's correct. Room 107 is our interior accommodation. Karen, but what about my view of the city? Me, your original room had a city view. This is your upgraded room. Karen, this isn't an upgrade. This room is tiny. Me, would you like to return to your original room? Karen, I want a suite. Manager, I'm afraid all our suites are occupied. We can return you to your original king room, or you can stay in 107. Karen, this is a bait and switch. I'm calling corporate. Manager, of course. Please let them know you requested a room change and we accommodated you immediately. Karen, I didn't request this closet. I demanded a suite. Manager, you expressed dissatisfaction with your original room and requested different accommodation. We provided an alternative within the same price range. Karen, I want my old room back. Manager, I apologize, but it's been reassigned. Room 107 is your confirmed accommodation for your stay. We could hear her stomping around the tiny room through the phone. Karen, there's not even a minibar. Manager, correct. Room 107 is our most basic accommodation. Perfect for guests who find our standard rooms inadequate. She tried to check out and go to another hotel, but she prepaid through the discount site no refunds. Throughout the night, she called the front desk 6 times to complain about the lack of windows, the small TV, the claustrophobic bathroom, the ice machine being too far away. The elevator noise 107 was right next to the service elevator. The lack of room service menu, we don't offer room service to interior rooms. Each time, we politely reminded her that she could have kept her original room with its city view, king bed, and minibar. The next morning, she stormed past the front desk without making eye contact, but we found her review online within an hour. Horrible hotel. They trapped me in a basement room with no windows after I complained about their terrible service. Don't be fooled by the pictures. They have secret tiny rooms they put difficult customers in. We responded, thank you for your feedback. As discussed during check-in, this room change was provided at your specific request for different accommodation. We're sorry you found both our standard king room and our interior room unsuitable for your needs. For future stays, we recommend booking the room type that best meets your requirements rather than requesting complimentary upgrades at check-in. Other guests who'd witnessed her check-in drama added their own comments, describing how she demanded free upgrades and threatened the staff. The best part? The room she rejected ended up going to a lovely couple who were celebrating their anniversary. They were thrilled with the city view and left us a glowing review. We've added Karen to our special guests list. If she ever books with us again, she'll automatically be assigned to 107. Something tells me she won't be back. Story 6. Working at Super Save Market means you see all kinds of interesting customer behavior, but yesterday's cart confusion incident was one for the record books. I was stocking shelves in the canned goods aisle when I first noticed a woman, let's call her Karen, who seemed to think the entire store was her personal storage space. She had parked her shopping cart right in the middle of the aisle, completely blocking both sides. Several customers had to maneuver around it, giving her irritated looks that she completely ignored. She was wandering back and forth between aisles, leaving her cart unattended for long periods. One elderly customer tried to get her attention. Elderly customer, excuse me, could you move your cart so I can reach the soup? Karen, just go around. I'm busy shopping. She disappeared again, leaving her cart exactly where it was. I watched as other customers struggled to navigate around it. One woman with a baby stroller had to completely back out of the aisle and go around to the next one. About 15 minutes later, Karen returned, but instead of going to her abandoned cart, she grabbed a different cart that was parked near the end of the aisle. This cart was full of carefully selected groceries, including fresh produce and meat that had clearly been thoughtfully chosen. The cart's actual owner, who had just stepped away for a moment to grab something from a nearby shelf, rushed over. Cart owner, excuse me, that's my cart. Karen, no, it's not. This is mine. Cart owner, I've been shopping for an hour. Those are my groceries. Karen, well, you must be confused. I picked all of these items. Cart owner, really? Then why is there a package of diapers in here when you don't have a baby with you? Karen, I'm shopping for my nephew. Cart owner, that's interesting, because those are for my daughter who's right over there. She pointed to a toddler in a stroller being watched by her husband at the end of the aisle. Karen, well, I don't know what to tell you, but this is definitely my cart. By now, several customers had stopped to watch the drama unfold. The cart owner waved her husband over. Husband, is there a problem here? Karen, these people are trying to steal my cart. Cart owner, we literally watched you grab our cart after leaving yours in the middle of the aisle for 20 minutes. Karen, how dare you accuse me of taking the wrong cart? Do I look like someone who would make that kind of mistake? I radioed for a manager, who arrived quickly. Manager, what seems to be the problem? Karen, these people are harassing me and trying to steal my groceries. Cart owner, she took our cart while we were shopping and is refusing to give it back. Manager, ma'am, where was your cart originally? Karen, right here. This is my cart. Manager, let's check the security cameras, shall we? Karen, fine. Then everyone will see that I'm right. The manager stepped away to review the footage with our security team. Meanwhile, Karen started rummaging through the cart, presumably trying to familiarize herself with her groceries. Karen, see? I remember picking all of these items. Cart owner, really? What brand of baby wipes are in there? Karen, the white ones. Cart owner, they're green. I specifically chose them because they're environmentally friendly. The manager returned with a printout of security camera stills, showing Karen abandoning her cart in the middle of the aisle and later taking the wrong one. Manager, ma'am, the footage clearly shows this isn't your cart. Karen, well, those cameras must be wrong. Manager, would you like me to show you where you left your original cart? Karen, yes, then everyone will see that I'm right. We all walked to where she had abandoned her cart, only to find an empty space. One of our stalkers was nearby. Stalker, oh, that cart that was blocking the aisle for half an hour. I just finished restocking everything. I thought someone had abandoned their shopping. Karen's face went through about 5 different shades of red. Karen, what? You put back all my things? Manager, we have a policy about unattended carts. After 15 minutes, we assume they're abandoned. Karen, This is outrageous. I demand you get all my items back. Manager, I'm sorry, but those items have been restocked. You're welcome to start your shopping again. Karen, do you know how long it took me to find everything? Cart owner, probably about as long as it took me to fill this cart, which is mine. Karen finally released her death grip on the wrong cart and stormed off, muttering about how she was going to call corporate and report everyone. The cart's rightful owners checked their groceries to make sure nothing had been damaged during Karen's tantrum. Fortunately, everything was intact. Cart owner, thank you for helping us sort this out. I couldn't believe someone would just take our cart and then lie about it. Manager, you'd be surprised how often people try to claim others' carts, though usually they admit their mistake when confronted with evidence. Karen did start shopping again, this time with a new cart. But she was so flustered she kept dropping things and muttering to herself. The best part, she had to pass by the cart's real owners several times, and they made sure to cheerfully greet her each time. Later that day, we found her complaint on our store's social media page. Horrible customer service. They gave away my cart and made me shop all over again, and they let other customers steal carts. The cart's real owner responded with, maybe don't abandon your cart in the middle of the aisle for 30 minutes and then try to steal someone else's. Just a thought. We've added a new sign in our aisles. Unattended carts will be restocked after 15 minutes. Please keep your cart with you at all times. Some of our regular customers who witnessed the incident now jokingly ask us to guard their carts when they need to step away for a moment. We've even had a few people recognize Karen when she's come back to shop and deliberately keep their carts close when they see her coming.